Vice was so great, and you are known for transforming your body. Did you see yourself watching this film and your rendition of Cheney? Do you see yourself in that portrayal?
Well, I do, but in that you cannot escape yourself completely, but you attempt to as much as you can. But I hope that I managed to capture the essence of Cheney, and I wasn't alone in doing that, with Adam, obviously, but then also with Greg Canham and with Chris Gallagher, the makeup artists, who did an incredible job and who we spent 4 hours every day creating the look. So it was a whole team that achieved that.
The voice. You nailed Cheney's voice, and how difficult, how did you come up and land at that version of the Cheney voice?
Well, I'm not a very good impersonator, but Adam wasn't looking for that anyway. However, just day after day, hour after hour, month after month, just listening again and again to Cheney, imitating him. Not trying to stretch it too far, that it sounded gimmicky, but trying to make it natural with my own facial movements. And you spend enough time, you could do it too, you know?
Yeah.
It's a matter of just becoming obsessed enough with it. And, you know, what's very important is having a lot of people relying on you doing it. So I tend to need a deadline and need lots of people needing me to achieve that in order for me to get the energy to do so.
A lot of people saw this movie and was like, I didn't know this was going on. Me, being a political junkie that I am, I knew a lot of this stuff, and you guys captured it so well. Why do you think politicians are able to get away with the level of stuff that they were able to get away with?
Because people have to work 2 jobs, because people have a tough enough time just surviving that they don't have time to be able to look into the details, which can be ridiculously complicated, which involves context and understanding the history, understanding personalities. It takes a lot of work. It truly does, and especially when you get dishonest politicians in the midst of it who are happy to usurp democracy and not be transparent. That therefore consumes a lot of time, and most people nowadays, they don't have that time. They need to survive, they need to support their families, therefore they need to understand the news very quickly, and therefore can be deceived very quickly as well.
You know, it's interesting because I think now we have so much access into what's happening, or we believe we do, based on the social media aspect and the sort of like 24-hour news cycle. I think that this was a different time. I mean, George Bush wasn't tweeting about, you know, what was happening inside of his mind at this time. So I think that, you know, I think the public really didn't know. Of course, we found out, you know, a lot of the stuff that we talk about in the film it's public knowledge. So it just takes the curiosity to find out.
Did I hear this correctly? Did you get a text message from Lynn?
No, did Adam tell you that?
No, I thought I heard that in an interview somewhere.
I was like,
did I just hear she got a text message?
I was like, this definitely seems like an Adam McKay story. He told a story earlier that he got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning that the vice president wanted to meet him at a Denny's, and I was like, did this happen? Like, I'm still so gullible. So I was like, wait, no, I did not get a text.
Okay.
Or did I today? Well, I'll check. You know what? If she wanted to meet, I would meet with her. I would owe her that respect.
There's a scene where your character says, don't talk to her silly or else you'll raise a silly girl. As a father, I was like, whoa, should I not talk to my child silly?
I talk to my daughter silly all day long. I am so silly with my girl.
Isn't it important to be a little silly?
For me, yeah.
Why?
I feel like when I take myself too seriously, it's overwhelming. I become so self-centered and self-important, and I think having a great sense of humor allows for a different type of communication, especially having a good sense of humor about yourself. It allows for you to see your flaws in a way that you can embrace them
Yeah.
as opposed to fighting against them.
I agree 100%. I
Yeah.
don't mind laughing at myself, and I don't
Oh,
mind
yeah.
if one of my friends laugh at me.
Oh,
but if a
yeah.
stranger laughs at me, I'm like, "Argh."
Oh, really? See, I'm so used to being laughed at all the time. I have actually a sign in my sister gave it to me, and I put it in my daughter's, right near her mirror in her bathroom. It said, "Blessed are those who can laugh at themselves, for they shall never cease to be amused." And so that's kind of something we live by in our life and in our house.
One of the greatest lines in this was when she says, "Don't talk to her silly or she'll be a silly girl."
Right.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that something you instill in your daughters?
Absolutely not. I think silliness is one of the most essential and enjoyable parts of life. I want my children to be silly. If you lose that silliness, you lose such a joy of life. It's terrible advice to lose that silliness.
You have to be silly.
Hold on to that silliness for as long as you can.
Godzilla!
Yeah.
Xilla bitch.
Godzilla! No, that's my thing.